Today we are whipping up a salmon with dill cream sauce. This is a really quick and easy dish. I am going to use 2 Thermomixes purely to make this live run smoother. That is absolutely not something that you need to do. Hello everyone, Chelsea McGill from Mixing It Real, coming to you live today. I think it's Monday. I never know what day it is. I really should practice that before I start these things. We're having some salmon for dinner tonight. This one is a layered dish using our Varoma. I know not a lot of you use your Varoma, which is why I really like showing you some of my favorite Varoma recipes because we love our Varoma in our house. I am using 2 Thermomixes purely because the steaming portion of this recipe is 17 minutes. So otherwise I wouldn't have too much to show you. So we're going to start off using our TM6. I'm still only a 1 TM7 household, so my TM6 does still come out every now and then. She does mainly like my rice, my sides. She's a glorified coffee machine for tea in the mornings, yogurt, stuff like that. And I do most of my cooking in my TM7. So I'm going to head on into my weekly planner. This one is the limited edition sparkling white TM6, and it really is a stunning machine. All right, so into our weekly planner. This one is the salmon and basmati rice with dill cream sauce. So we're going to steam our salmon and our rice. I'm going to add in some veggies, and then we're going to whip up a really beautiful sauce. Really quick and easy, less than 40 minutes start to finish when you're using 1 Thermomix. As I said, you do not need to use 2. It is purely to make this live run smoother. So pop in the comments and let me know, are you a salmon lover? Is it something that you're eating in your house? Have you made this recipe before, or do you have another favorite salmon recipe to share with me? So we're going with 995 grams of water. I'm not sure why we just can't have 1,000. I'm a little bit short anyway, but that is fine. Near enough is good enough. Hit that next button. 15 grams of olive oil. So this is for the rice. I don't put olive oil in my rice. That is up to you. I also actually don't put any salt in my rice either. So I am just doing the water. Then we're putting our simmering basket in, and we're going to weigh 225 grams of rice. It says basmati. You could also do brown rice with this recipe, but bear in mind that brown rice does need quite a substantially longer cook time, about double the cook time. So you would want to cook your rice for about 15 minutes before you're adding your salmon in, but it would be delicious with brown rice. Jess, never eaten salmon before. You're going to have to try it. I'm actually not a huge fish lover, but I do really like salmon. It is really yummy. So remove our simmering basket and just give your rice a quick rinse. Rice needs to be rinsed to remove some of that like powdery substance off it. It's going to cook better, be less gluggy. All rices are different as to how long they're going to take to rinse, but a couple of seconds, just until it looks like it's running clear. Christina's just said, have you made this recipe with any other fish? Not a huge salmon eating family here. You could absolutely do this with other fish. You could even switch it out to chicken if you wanted to. If you're not a salmon or a fish lover, guided cooking, this will still be beautiful with a different kind of protein or fish. Reinsert your simmering basket with your rinsed rice. We're going to put our lid on, and we're going to grab our Varoma out. So we've got our TM6 Varoma here. I'm going to show you the difference between the 6 and the 7 Varoma in just a minute, so you can get a bit of an idea around the size. But it wants us to grease our Varoma tray with oil. Now, I never grease my Varoma tray. I find that the Varoma is not sticky. You do not need to. It's just another step, more mess that you really don't need to worry about. And then place salmon fillets on tray and season with half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Place Varoma into position, secure Varoma lid, and start cooking. So we're going to grab our salmon. Now it is asking us to put it in our Varoma tray, which is your top one, top tray. Deep one is your dish, so deep dish, top tray. Good way to remember the differences. Now, just grabbing my tongs. So I'm only doing 2 bits of salmon. My kids don't eat salmon. Surprise, surprise. So they're just going to have some sausages and rice and veggies for dinner. So they're still going to get what we're having, but their protein is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to put them into my Varoma dish, not tray, because I want to load this up with some veggies as well. You could, depending on the size of your salmon, will depend on whether you could get them in a dish or not. If you need to put them on the tray, that's absolutely fine. So we've got 15 minutes on Varoma. We're going to go around to speed 4. So we've got our rice cooking, our salmon in, And then on my tray, I'm just going to add in some carrots that I've cut up. And then I do have some asparagus as well. Now my asparagus isn't going to need that full cooking time, so I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before I put that one in. Generally with my greens, I prefer them hard rather than soft, so I always add them in afterwards, but that is personal preference and up to you. So we're just going to awkwardly swap Thermomixes here. I'm going to move my TM6 out of the way. It really is crazy how much quieter the TM7 is. I really didn't kind of believe it until I cook with my TM6, and I just forget how loud it was in comparison. All right, so we've got our beautiful TM7 out now. So that one is cooking away, and it does say prolong by 2 minutes if necessary until cooked to your liking. So remember, sometimes things need to be adjusted a little bit extra, and you can always do that. So we've gone into our weekly planner, which is on the home screen of our TM7. And I've got the same recipe here, the salmon and basmati rice with dill cream sauce. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down past our steaming steps because our TM6 is doing that. And then steam. Okay. So I get up to the step that I want, and I'm clicking on the 3 dots and setting as current step on my TM7. So remove Varoma, set aside on a plate to keep salmon warm, or you'd use your thermosaver. Lawrence just said, I'm so excited my TM7 is on its way. Yay, I'm so excited for you too. There's going to be lots of lucky people getting their TM7s in the next 2 weeks after a little bit of a delay, so very happy for you all. Remove simmering basket and set aside, empty mixing bowl. All right, so then we're going to move on to our sauce. So this is where we're going to make our sauce. So we're going to start off with a little bit of butter, and it wants 1 tablespoon, about yay. 60 grams of onions quartered. I've just roughly chopped a bit of onion there. I've got 55 grams, which will suffice. And then a garlic clove. And if you've ever seen me cook before, you'd know I'm always about doubling my garlic. So I've got, I think, 3 cloves in there because I don't believe that you can have too much garlic. So tick that off, hit that next button. We're going to pop our lid on, and we're just going to chop that one up. So we've got 5 seconds on speed 5. I'll just grab my spatula. I always think I'm so prepared when I start my lives, but I've always forgotten a few things, so sorry. So 5 seconds on speed 5, and we have chopped up that onion, garlic, and that butter in there. So we're going to hit that next button, scrape down our sides with our spatula. And then we've just got 3 minutes, 120 degrees, hit that play button. So we're just going to brown those onions, soften those onions a little. We're just using the standard cooking mode. We're not using the high heat mode for this one. When you're using a TM7, you can access your high heat mode manually, which is amazing. I'm just looking at my phone. With the TM7, one of the new features, the new updates that it has is it syncs up with your Cookidoo on your phone and tells you what is happening. So I've just got a little countdown timer there. So we've got 2 minutes 36 showing me on my phone, which is actually really handy. At first I was like, why would I need that? But then I realized I do walk away from my Thermomix a lot, and I might not hear it dinging from another room. So I love if I'm outside or if I'm doing something with the kids, I've got my phone on me, it will beep at me and let me know that my Thermomix is ready. The only time I found that annoying is when I was in Fiji recently and my family were cooking and I kept getting notifications that their food was ready or ready for the next step. But you can turn it off if you are away or something like that. All right, so 3 minutes, 120 degrees, and I'm getting the onion steam in my eyes. Need my goggles on about now. So again, this is with your Thermomix where you buy your time back. 3 minutes is quite a long time, especially if you are a busy mum like me. You'd know how much you could get done in just 3 minutes. So our onions are cooking away. Something that I love about the TM7 is that when you're cooking under at speed 2 or below, so we're at speed 1 at the moment, you can actually pop the lid off at any time. The blades will stop moving, your timer will stop. Once you put your lid back on, it registers that your lid's back on and it will start cooking again. So if you are somebody who's a little bit like me that loves to make changes to your recipes, if you're always kind of doing different bits and pieces and you want to check it, see how it's looking, be able to taste it, know if it needs any more seasoning, this is a really cool feature. Once you're above speed 2, it does lock on as a safety function, of course, but below speed 2 is so slow, it is safe that you are able to pop that off. Those blades do completely stop moving and then they will start stirring again. So we've got just 1 minute to go. So pop in the comments and let me know, what are you having for dinner in your household tonight? What's on your meal plan? For lunches this week, I made the cheeseburger bowl. If you haven't had that one, it is absolutely delicious. It's a high protein one. So I meal prepped it. I got 4 serves for my week of lunches. And that high protein Big Mac sauce is absolutely amazing. It's got boiled eggs in it and it is so tasty. Excited for lunches this week. All right, so we are going to stop that one with 20 seconds to go. We have just softened those onions off nicely. And then we're going to move on with our other sauce ingredients. So we're going to go in with 395 grams of heavy cream. So this is, I think, a UK recipe. So when you see that heavy cream, just regular cream, I'm using lactose-free and I'm actually using a light cooking cream. This one's a bit calorie dense. So obviously good fats with your salmon and everything, carbs with your rice. I'm adding my veggies, but I am going to go in with a light cooking cream. That's just my preference. And it does want 395 grams, but the kids won't be eating any of this sauce, so I'm not too stressed. I've got 300 grams, just the small bottle, because they don't make the Zimmel lactose-free cream in the large size, which is a little bit annoying. And then it wants 2 vegetable stock cubes or 2 teaspoons of vegetable stock paste. So I'd hope all my Thermomix friends are making their own vegetable stock paste, which is this one here. Does not look like the most delicious thing in the world, but it is the most delicious thing in the world. And don't be shy. When it wants 2 teaspoons, give it 2 nice big teaspoons. I'm almost out. I need to make some more. We go through this a couple of times a year. I make a batch at least 4 times a year. I make this, it lasts a couple of months in our household. I normally get 2 jars about that size out of it. So if you haven't made the veggie stock paste, please do yourself a favour and make it. We're going in with some tomato puree, which I'm just using tomato paste. And it wants 1.5 tablespoons. So I'm just going to go about that. This recipe has been added by a consultant from the UK, which is why some of the things are a little bit different to what you might find in a Cookidoo triple tested recipe. I'm just going to get my dill. I find you'll tend to get more measurements than spoons, so we could have weighed out the tomato paste at probably about 20 grams or so. Now, it wants 2 sprigs of fresh dill. I don't have any fresh dill, and I refuse to pay $4 for a bunch of herbs when I only need a little bit. So dried are always a great option if you are like me and want to reduce the cost of your groceries. Cayenne pepper flakes, which is optional, which I am going to leave out because I am a sook. But if you like it spicy, pop in your cayenne pepper or your chili flakes, whatever you've got. And then we're going to go with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which is corn flour in Australia. But I'm going to go about 1.5 because I had a little bit less cream. So I just don't want it to go too thick. So cornstarch in next. We're going to pop our lid on and our lid cap. And we just hit that play button. And we've got 5 minutes on 100 degrees on speed 1.5. Now, our salmon only has 6 minutes to go. So I am going to take that one off and add in my asparagus as well. And that one is going to cook for the next couple of minutes. So we're on 100 degrees, speed 1.5 over here, which is going to cook that one up perfectly, thicken it, and be really, really yummy. We've got the onion, the garlic, the stock paste, which is going to give it a lot of flavour, the dill, the tomato paste, some really, really yummy flavours in this one as well. There is a similar recipe to this. There's a salmon with a hollandaise sauce, which is really, really yummy as well. So if you are a salmon lover, make sure you try that one out too. And then once this one's done, our last step is serve salmon with reserved rice and sauce, and then of course those veggies that I've added as well. So as I said, it is a super quick one. even quicker because I did use two Thermomixes, but you can absolutely just use one thermo and still have dinner on the table in less than 40 minutes, including prep time. I would say that's even quicker. So I just want to show you the difference between the TM6 Varoma and the TM7 Varoma. So I know getting all of this in camera is a little bit tricky, but our TM6 Varoma is this one here, and then our TM7 Varoma, I'm going to pop it on top so you can see, is substantially bigger. So we're about 45% bigger with our TM7 Varoma. So if you are like us and you do love using your Varoma, the TM7 Varoma gives you so much more capacity, which means you can get so much more in it. When you look at the shape, it can be a bit tricky to tell on this view, but our TM7 Varoma has the rectangle sides, the rectangular sides on it, whereas our TM6 is an oval. So we lose all of these corners. So they've really done us a solid with this one and taking it all the way out to the corners, which means that we are getting 45% more food into our Varoma. If you're not using your Varoma, your homework is to go and find some beautiful Varoma recipes and start making them, because layered cooking is so smart. So I was listening to our boss, our general manager, Philip from Germany, talk the other day, and he was saying in Germany they're a huge fan of the layered cooking, of using the Varoma. So I very much agree. It's all about cooking smarter, not harder. As you saw in our TM6, we put the simmering basket, we had the water in the bottom, and then we layered our Varoma up with our meat and veggies. So you're literally cooking a whole meal in the one apparatus with no hands, which is amazing. Who would not want to do that? So you're able to walk away for 17 minutes while your dinner cooks. You don't have to worry about your stove boiling over, anything burning, and the mess is so much less as well. So if you're not using your Varoma, have a look on Cookidoo and find some Varoma recipes, or send me a message and I'm more than happy to send through some of my favorites. I might whip up a bit of a Varoma collection to show you guys some of my favorite Varoma recipes that you can be making. Steam cooking is also a really healthy way to cook. So we're removing a lot of oils and fats. When we are cooking with steam, we're not frying anything, it's not cooking in its own fats, that kind of stuff. So it is a really healthy way to eat as well. And it just means there's so much more that you can do. I think when a lot of people think about a Thermomix, they think about pastas, stews, things like that. So you forget that you can make so many beautiful meats and veggies when you are a Thermomix owner if you are using your Varoma to its full capabilities as well. So TM7, 45% bigger Varoma, which is amazing, especially if you want to feed a crowd. You can actually fit 2 whole chooks in the TM7 Varoma side by side, which is amazing. And I really need to try that. Steamed meat is really beautiful. It's so tender and juicy. Really nice way to do it. So we've got just 1 minute left and 2 minutes on our fish and rice. And I'd love to plate it up to show you guys. It's not very often in my lives I get to plate it up. So if you can listen to me waffle for another minute, you can see the end results of this beautiful dish. So lastly, we do have our Earn 4 running at the moment. So if you would like to get a TM7 on your bench but you don't want to pay for one, please reach out. I'd love to have a chat. You can do it with just 4 sales over a 90-day period. TM7 yours with just 4 sales, which is an amazing way to do it. Or if you would like to order yourself one, let's chat. We have just a 4-week wait for our TM7 at the moment, which is amazing. We were at a 12-week wait not long ago. So 4 weeks is super fast. And you will not regret getting a Thermomix on your bench or a TM7 on your bench, especially as you come into the crazy silly season. 6 seconds left on our sauce. And 1 minute left on our fish and veggies. So, oh my goodness, this one looks absolutely delicious. Look at that. Now that has thickened up nicely. I'm just going to grab a spoon. I think I need to get new cutlery. I never seem to have any spoons in my house. Where do they all go? Look at that. That smells absolutely amazing. That is really thick, like a hollandaise kind of sauce. It is delicious. Smells so good. All right, so we all know plating up is not my strong suit. So bear with me while I try to make this one presentable. Something that I forgot the TM6 does is the cool down mode. So it goes into that 20-second cool down. So you can't stop the TM6 until it's finished its cool down stage. And I was cooking with it the other day and I manually stopped it and I had to stand there and wait for 20 seconds and it killed me because I forgot about it. The TM6 doesn't have the cool down in it because it has a different lid. It's designed differently, so it doesn't need that safety step. And I forgot how annoying that 20 seconds was. All right, remove Varoma, set covered Varoma aside on a plate. So what you want to do with your Varoma is tip your lid upside down and use it as a drip tray, like so. Otherwise, your Varoma is going to kind of pour water all over your bench. So using that tray there. And my salmon looks beautiful. If you like a pan-seared salmon, like a crispy skin salmon, you could quickly finish it off in your fry pan for a minute, just on that skin side to give it that golden crunch. And then we're going to use our TM6 spatula. And we're just going to remove our simmering basket. So remembering with our TM6 and our TM7, we have our hook on our spatula, which goes on into your simmering basket. Somehow I have a TM5 simmering basket and I don't know where my TM6 one is. I don't know how that's happened because I have not owned a TM5 that I've cooked with for a very long time. All right, remove simmering basket with spatula and set aside, empty and rinse mixing bowl, and then move on to your sauce if that is what you are up to. But we are up to plating. So bringing this one over, just going to bring the whole thing over, get a server. I'm going to use a salad stirrer. But look at that, perfectly cooked rice every time. So that was just 17 minutes. Perfection. Perfect rice every time in your Thermomix. Rice is something that I was never able to cook on the stove. I don't know about you guys, but I find it really, really hard. It was either underdone or overdone. But it's always perfect in my Thermomix. All right, so we've got our perfect rice. We're going to pop some asparagus. Which way am I going to go? This way. Carrots. I'm just going to throw them back there. If anyone has any tips on plating up food, feel free to yell. It's like there's an art to it and it's just not a skill that I was born with. I'm all about the taste. I don't mind so much what it looks like. What do you guys reckon? Is the appearance important or are you more about the flavour? Lost my fish for a minute there. Oh, my salmon's so beautifully cooked it's going to fall apart on me. Oh, yep, and there we go. I lost half of it. Stick that one back on. Then we're going to put a little bit of our sauce on. Now I might even just thin my sauce a little bit. I reckon I just want it a little bit thinner. As I said, I reduced my cream. I did reduce my corn flour, but I probably could have reduced it a little bit more. So I'm just going to grab a smidge of water. And I'm literally just going to pop a little bit of water in there. Just want it a little bit runnier. And then hit my home button into my manual mode. And I'm just going to go speed 4 for a couple of seconds. You can hear that thinning down nicely. Hit that stop button. And then, yeah, that's better. There we go. That was just a tiny bit thick. I'm just going to pour, how are we going to do this, guys? My rice and my salmon. Oh, that sauce just smells incredible. And there we have our salmon with a dill cream sauce and our rice. So delicious, high protein, absolutely yummy, filled with good fat, omega-3, all of the stuff that you need. And there we go. So if you haven't made this one before, add it to your list. Again, it is the salmon and basmati rice with dill cream sauce. You can find it on Cookidoo. If you have any questions, please let me know. And again, if you'd like my favourite Varoma recipes, yell. I will get on to making a collection. Happy Monday all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.